Welcome back, everybody, to Unriveted, a Dakota Customs original podcast. I'm your host, Travis Feist, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Rob McLeod.
What's up, guys?
Sturgis, we made it. The whole rush. Actually, it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad at all. I think with how hard we got hit last year, getting bikes ready and getting them ready to roll, I think we almost built it up or maybe just last year was such a freaky year of everybody had to bring their bike to Dakota Customs to get it ready, and it wasn't as actually a breeze this year.
Yeah,
it really.
I think we were more prepared.
We were prepared,
but I think too maybe everything with the weather, maybe that kind of had an effect on it. But
I think a lot of people just decided not to go. Honestly,
yeah, I heard that the attendance was actually down this year.
Yeah,
in Sturgis. Yeah, that's what I've heard from a few people. So I don't know like by how much, but I heard it was down.
No, it's funny. Everybody was asking me. It's like you got to be swamped with Sturgis going on right now. It's like actually we're swamped, but not with bikes.
Yeah.
So is what it is. I mean, obviously we love to help people out and get their bikes ready for them, but it's also nice just moving forward without the exterior or the Sturgis business coming in. So
yeah, I stopped over at the Harley shop. God, what was it?
Yesterday? Did you get your parts?
Yeah, no.
There's parts in there.
I almost go there every day. There is?
Yeah, you got bike parts.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, geez.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah. So is it actually like Christmas if I actually pay for them?
Yes.
Okay.
It is, yeah.
I get a lot.
It's
I
a
get
wash.
Christmas almost every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Cost of doing business.
Cool. Well, thanks for telling me my parts because I was actually thinking about that today. It's like, God, they're usually here by now.
I was actually going to pick them up. Didn't get a chance to do so. So I was actually going to hand deliver them, but you can pick them up yourself now.
Yeah. I like when Harley calls me that my stuff is in. It is a good feeling. But so anyways, I was in there last week. I think it was like the beginning of the week, and I was talking to the parts guy there, and even he said too. He says, we're busy, but it wasn't over the top like what they're used to compared to previously. But then you go back and talk to Ben in the shop, and he's you keep the conversations really short because he's frustrated.
He keeps the conversations really short because he's got a million things to do.
Yeah, it's like I go in there and
he doesn't want to hear it either.
No, I go in there and I want to tease him and like pick on him a little bit and give him some grief, and he's just like, I'm not having it today. Just one of those days. So I'm like, all right, buddy, see you later.
It's so funny, like how many times I'll catch him out on a test ride. It's just like he's just ripping through these test rides because he's got a million other test rides to do. So yeah.
No, but so I know their shop's been busy, but still great group of people. I love going in there and BSing with those guys, and I think if I remember right, I think Bill's actually going to be on our show next week, so we can hound on him a little bit and talk to him about his little Sturgis rush. But
yeah,
I'd have to say it wasn't too bad for us. But our shop itself, we got a couple of new projects that came in, and we're getting started on those. So again, full shop. Got a ton of stuff going on.
That's never going to change.
No,
we can honestly, it's understood.
It's a good feeling, to be honest with you. Can get overwhelming, but it's a good thing or a good problem to have, I guess. So just try to knock out what we can in a timely manner. And with all that, I know we've been really trying hard. I think we started back in April, I think, roughly in that time frame. I think it was pretty much what got everything going was at the Freedom Riders Bike Show, and I believe that was in March.
April.
Was it? Yeah, beginning of April?
April.
Yeah. And they raised money for the Western North Dakota Honor Flight. And I've been looking into this foundation, I guess I believe it's called, or...
Well, we're technically a nonprofit.
Nonprofit, yeah. So about doing something like this, and I was thinking about already at last year, and by that time, I think fall was coming around, and we just had a lot going on, and I just wasn't able to put something together. And being at the bike show, it triggered and got me like, okay, I got to get going on this. And so we started a raffle, attempted to, I should say, back in April. We ran into some snags on our end, but we got them all worked out. And so we came up with a 100-gun raffle through Shields to help raise money for the Western North Dakota Honor Flight. And with me today, I was actually able to grab Dennis Berdalski, the president of the nonprofit, and we get to pick his brain a little bit, and he can tell us what it's all about and where the proceeds and how and what the Western North Dakota Honor Flight's all about. So thanks for taking time out, Dennis. I know it was really short notice, but I'm glad that you were able to take time out and visit with us and talk on our podcast.
Thanks for having me. I
Absolutely,
appreciate it.
yeah.
So the Western North Dakota Honor Flight was organized in 2019. Of course, then after we organized and we were planning for our first trip, then COVID hit. That delayed us all through 2021. We belong to the National Honor Flight Network, which has a set of policies and rules, and they actually help coordinate your trips in DC. And we had, couldn't fly. And so originally we thought that raising funds was going to be our difficult part. Well, with that much time, we were able to piece together enough funding to cover the first flight. We took our inaugural flight in April of 2022, and ironically, we took at that trip we took 99 veterans. After that flight, within the month after it, we had grown that 99 plus another nearly 100. So the word is getting out there. Every time we fly, our list grows, which is a good problem to have. That means we're fulfilling the need. We've been able to get some major funding, which has helped us concentrate more on the product and making sure that our flights are high quality, the best experience that the veterans will have. Our board is a group of, there's a total of 15 of us, counting the officers. Everyone is not paid. It's purely volunteer. All money raised goes directly to the flights and to the veterans. Currently, we fly World War II vets, which there's getting fewer and fewer. We have one on our list right now, and I don't think he's going to be capable of flying in our October upcoming flight. However, there's still quite a few Korean War veterans, and we kind of cover the people from Korean War up to the Berlin crisis, which was the early 1960s. After that, they're considered Vietnam vets. And then we take the veterans in order, first of all, the war order, so World War II, Korea, Vietnam. And then of those, we take, it's first come, first serve. Whoever applied first of the Vietnam vets will get to travel first. Sorry. So, like I said, we took our inaugural flight last April. Then we went back to fundraising, as we always do. When the list grew, we knew we had to do something. We were able to reach out to a couple foundations here in town, and they've come through for us. We're still raising money through our grassroots and a lot of service clubs, the DAVs, the American Legions. I don't want to miss anybody, the AMVETs, the VFWs, both local to Bismarck and most of the small towns. Our service area, I had showed in our brochure, covers roughly from Highway 52 over by Jamestown all the way west to the North Dakota border with Montana, and from South Dakota to Canada. So it's a pretty large coverage area.
That is, yep.
And as I said, we have a lot of veterans in the Bismarck area, but we also have a lot in the Minot area, Williston, Watford City. Dickinson has been we've had a lot of activity at Dickinson, also a couple fundraising events. We've done Deuces Wild, hosted in Minot last December. We're trying to not make it a Bismarck-centric group. We cover the entire 2/3 of the state. So we want to make sure that we're getting out where the veterans are.
Sure. Yeah, it's. I've actually talked to a couple of people who have actually gone on this, and they said it's quite the experience. And even with this this honor flight, like that's when you average even 100 people, like you said, this next one's 120. That's just the veterans. That's not the help. That's not the people that have to go with to help make this happen. So it's a plane full. I mean, you're pretty much renting the whole commercial flight to go down there, and it's just not even it's not about the flight. It's getting down there. It's the stay, the tour, the meals. I mean, you got to help these people and everything else. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just we're raising money to book a plane ticket. Well, it's way more extensive than that.
Exactly. So the typical flight. We're heavily, setting itineraries and stuff right now, so all this information is fresh in my mind. But the last 3 flights we're flying to BWI, Baltimore, Washington International. Now that's 45 minutes away from the DC, metro area. But Allegiant was the only plane available, the only company that had a plane available for that particular weekend, because we have to coordinate with things that are going on in the D.C. area. We have to make sure that we're not going to come back to weather, which ironically on our very first flight, we landed on Monday night. And I don't know if you guys remember the April 2022 storm. It started the next day. So luckily all of the veterans got home after that and before the snow hit. So anyhow, getting back to the trip, we have... like I said, we go for 95 to 100 veterans, but then there's 5 medical, a doctor, and then different types of nurses, a psychologist, because they tend to have, the Vietnam veterans in particular, have issues with the Vietnam Memorial, things along those lines. When they returned back in the 70s, a lot of them would go straight to the San Francisco airport's restroom and get out of their uniform, because they knew if they went any farther into the public that there would be, they could be spat on or called baby killers, all that kind of thing. And that was just bad for them. And so we try to, be careful of, their emotional health. So anyway, we have the medical, the vets, we have the logistics people, which would be, we have board members, and we also have our volunteers that travel with us. It takes a lot of wheelchairs, a lot of, helping do the bags, things along those lines. So we generally have, 12 to 15 people that are helping the veterans, know where to go and distribute the food on the buses. And speaking of buses, the buses is a major expense. We're chartering 4 buses for the team, and we break them up into the 4 buses, and that's for 2 days in D.C. Generally, we land, like at BWI, approximately mid-morning after departing Bismarck at 7 a.m. Then we tour through the day. We head back to the hotel, which is the last couple flights has been, we stay in downtown D.C., and then that night they have a little bit of time to rest, and then we bring them downstairs and we do a banquet. And we just kind of go over what happened during the day. We talk about, sometimes we have a guest speaker, sometimes we have entertainment. So each time, like, you add a feature, that adds cost. Our first flight was approximately $169,000.
Wow.
Most people freak out about that, but it's to charter an aircraft. And we actually, because we signed early, had COVID pricing on fuel, which was actually lower because no one was flying. Well, since then, between the inflation and then just, fuel going up, price of oil, our next flight, it's probably going to be closer to the $200,000 mark. So.
And that's crazy when you actually think about it. Like, something, each trip, by the time you think about, could possibly run you $250,000 every trip. And
if we were paying for anyone to do the admin work or logistics or all that, we would. But because that's volunteer time, hundreds upon hundreds of hours to plan one of these trips. So
it's go ahead. So is this this October flight? Is this going to be the second one since your inaugural?
Oh, no. Actually, we had the inaugural. We had the second April one, which was 2023.
Okay.
And now this is our third flight altogether. So technically, what you said was correct. It's the second after the inaugural. But we at first in April we didn't think we were going to be able to do a second flight, but then we were able with some donations. We decided we had the funding and we could make that commitment, and it's looking pretty good right now. It's we're busy. I mean, every day I'm answering. Our letters had gone out for this flight for the veterans who were, I don't want to say selected, their number had come up, and we sent those letters out, and approximately 70 to 75 of them have already replied. So,
Wow.
yeah, and some of them, like if let's say someone has something personal that they just can't do. They were selected, but they can't make this flight. They can defer and go on the next one.
Okay.
And so then we pull the next person on the waiting list in. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. Everyone's ready to go. And this is our third one, so we know what we know, and there's less of what we don't know. So now we're focusing on just refining the trip and making it the best experience we can.
Sure. So can you explain to the listeners like what the trip all consists of? So it's like you leave Monday, you fly, and then I imagine, do you tour anything like right away that first day, or do you like go to the hotel, or kind of like run through an itinerary, like how you guys do a trip, or where you see, or what you go look at? And
Okay, so I'll use the last trip as an example because this one's still, the itinerary hasn't been set. So actually, we have the veterans arrive at the airport 5:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, and so we feed them. We get them checked in, get them through TSA. We feed them at the airport, so they have breakfast there. Then everyone boards the plane. We have assigned seats just so we can kind of keep like buddies together, but we also try to mix it up a little bit so people sit with people they're not familiar with too. And then we mix in all the support staff where we can. But with some of them, we have to have near the front because you need to be able to get off the plane quickly and get the stuff, the wheelchairs, things along those lines. So anyway, we jump, the plane takes off. You lose the hour going to D.C., so you land around 11. It's a 2-hour flight, but you lose that hour. Collect the bags. We do all that ourselves. We have the people who provide the lunches meet us at the airport, and we take put those on the buses and distribute them because we have a 45-minute drive back to D.C. If the weather's nice, we can stop, say, Fort McHenry, one of those places. But we finish, they eat their meal. As we come into D.C., generally our first stop has been the Marine Memorial, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. The one like you see in Flags of Our Fathers.
okay,
Yeah,
sure, yep.
Yeah, it's a big area. I used to live in D.C. when I was in the military, and so it would be to the north and to the east of, say, the Pentagon. And we tour that in a few minutes, up to 30 minutes. It does take time to get everyone off the buses, on the buses, so each stop is a minimum of 30 minutes. On this last trip, we went to Arlington. We watched the changing of the guard, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting. It's very reverent. Everyone has a good time. Everybody understands, the gravity of the situation. Load them back on the buses. This last time, we didn't have to go too far because we had our first female veteran travel with us, and she received an award. And where it was at the Women's Memorial, which is, I don't want to say it's on Arlington grounds, but it's very close. So that was our next stop. After that, we went to the Air Force Memorial, and I think I'm missing something, but anyway, so moving on. And then after that, by that time we'd already been out. It was getting to be 4:30, 4:45, and so we headed to the hotel. We got everybody in the hotel. It gives them a chance to relax if they need, because they're going to nap on the plane and on the bus. But if they need to clean up, that kind of thing, and then they come downstairs between 6 and 6:30. It's like a cocktail hour, and then we serve the meal. We have our guest speaker, just go through the common banquet stuff. Usually we try to get them in their beds or at least heading back upstairs between 9 and 9:30 DC time, which would be 8:30 Central.
Sure.
And just to try to keep them on a schedule. And then we ask them to report downstairs at 6:30 with all their bags. And we feed them a plated breakfast, load everybody back up. And by 7:30, 7:45, we jump on the buses. And on this last trip, we went to the National Archives, which is really interesting. The Magna Carta's there, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of that is there and it's present. On our first flight, we actually took our flight picture there. This last flight, we didn't. We chose to do it on the steps of Lincoln Memorial. And at that point then, like we said, we headed over to the Navy Memorial because it's literally behind the building, the archives building. Then we went to the Vietnam, Lincoln, Korean Memorial, all in the same area. Luckily, we were able to get the parks police or whatever to give us parking nearby. And we unloaded. Everybody went out and did their visits and checked the memorials out, took the picture on this last trip. And then they came back and we fed them lunch. And we head to World War II. And I think I'm missing a stop, but I cannot think of what it is. But generally, because DC traffic on a Monday, which is when we're heading back, we try to get on the road by 4:30 to get us to the airport by 5:30 to get them on the plane by 6 their time to come back.
Oh, wow.
So it sounds like a whirlwind tour, and I know the Fargo Honor Flight does it slightly differently, but they also have more resources than we have, and they've been doing it a lot longer. I think we're aiming to do either a midweek trip in future flights or expand it, depending on funding. But yeah, that's kind of how a trip goes. I know it sounds, you're on the move. Veterans can, if they need assistance, they can either ask one of the volunteers to help, or they can bring their own travel companion. And I would say probably 10-20% opt for that. But what that does is that cuts into the number of seats on the plane for veterans. So what we try to do is optimize. There's a balance, and so far we've been able to hit that.
Sure.
So you guys don't fly on a military plane?
No, it's commercial.
Okay.
Yeah. The military would cost a lot more than that $100,000 to put a military plane in the air.
So is it pretty hard to collaborate all this? To get everything. Because you got to rely on so many different businesses and people to make this all line up. Is it when you kind of tell them who you are and what are people really on board and is it pretty easy to try to get everything set up, or does it take a lot of timing and a lot of trying to figure this stuff out to coordinate all this?
It is
because you guys are doing a lot of stops. There's actually a lot going on in 2 days. You know?
Yeah, we kind of call it a dance. So the Honor Flight portal has a lot of resources for us to use, where you can get your permits for Arlington or order your buses and things like that. But you still have the mechanism back here working where someone has to do make the payments. Our treasurer has to be the one to go out and make those payments. They're large even for deposits. We do that, and then we get a final up bill at the end and pay that through check. But there's a lot of coordination. Luckily, the Honor Flight in DC has a volunteer network that greets us at the airport, which is really nice. And it's like the last one was really cool. We came down, our ramp was quite a ways, I think, from the main door where the buses would be. And as we walked and people started seeing them, they started cheering for them.
Oh, wow.
And so,
That's cool.
you see the tears rolling. And it's really touching. I took my dad on one. That's how I got familiar with the Honor Flight. He lived in Missouri, and it was the Springfield area. I think it's called the Ozark Honor Flight. And so me being a veteran, I arranged for him to go, and I went as his traveling companion. And it was really, I completely enjoyed it because I'd only been out of the military for 5 years at that point. And he really enjoyed it because some of my friends who worked at the Pentagon came and greeted us at the Korea Memorial, and the entire trip, though, he talked about that was 2011, and he died in 2016, and he did not go a day without talking about that flight.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, and from what I hear, that's common. There's a lot of people who report back to us, or you see in the obituary where they said that he really enjoyed his honor flight trip. So
I've seen that too. I've had a few now. Veterans come in and they wanted to buy raffle tickets just to support it. And when they said I was on an honor flight, you could just see it in them that they're full of energy. Like, it was an unforgettable experience. So it truly touches these veterans after the fact. So yeah.
I was going to say the Bismarck homecomings have been awesome. The first one, we were on time, but we didn't know that you really should have the wheelchair people, the ones that are completely dependent, near the front. And so on this last one, we tried to space it out, and we let people know that there were still people on the plane, and we had just a great turnout. We had legislators, both federal and state legislators. We had just a ton of people. I mean, that airport, I didn't think could hold more after the first flight. Well, they proved me wrong on the second, because it was even more crowded. And from what I heard, I was actually helping a veteran that needed wheelchair assistance. And it was just... a lot of these guys, like I said, the Vietnam guys never got a homecoming. There were World War II, they got one. Korean, they came back a few at a time. But the Vietnam guys, they never got anything, and so that was tough. And my brother is Vietnam age. He was only over there a few months, and that place changed a lot of people. And it's just great that we can do something to kind of mitigate that trauma and let them know that people do appreciate them.
Maybe provided a little bit of closure to what they did.
Exactly. That's what
That's huge.
Our psychologist on the last couple flights, Penny, she was very... she warned us that some of them may have trouble at just different things. But it was kind of neat to see the ones you thought would be the most fragile were able to go up and find their friends' names on the wall and make the rubbings. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it means a lot to the people that were involved in it, and it's actually something neat to see. I'd never been or seen something like that, and it would be cool to eventually sometime take a vacation and actually get to see some of this stuff. But I know, again, I've talked to a few people that have been on it, and definitely, like you said earlier, it is something that they talk about, and it is something that I think it's a good thing to take them down there and just to see it, everything now that what they've been through, and I think it's a great idea. But you do hear that the people that have gone on it, like you said, you hear it like in their obituaries or in their write-up and stuff like that, that it is something that they talk about. Or again, if you ran into somebody that has been down there, it is something that they do bring up and they do talk about.
My dad told a story. So he had never been to D.C. proper. When he was coming home from Europe after World War II, he says they were on trains and they outskirted town so they could kind of see the tops of buildings and stuff. And if you know, the Washington Monument stands up pretty high, but nothing else does. And that was one thing he says, yeah, we could see the lights and we could see tops of things, but they never got to actually see what was there. And then all these great memorials have been built. The World War II memorial, that was the one I forgot, by the way. I said we did another stuff. That one is really great because every state has its own panel of granite, and it's done around the fountain, and it's just really a very well done monument. And and it's meant to be interactive. You can walk, you can touch everything, and yeah, it's pretty slick. He really enjoyed that one too because that was his. He got to go see Kansas because that's where he went into the Army from. And
oh, sure,
yeah.
So when you ask for the volunteers to help out with that, do you prefer that you get new blood every time, or do you get the same people to help out just so that? Or
no, actually, this is me being a planner and someone that was previously military. I always think that you should train your replacement. And so what we've been doing is we have a lot of people who will say, hey, I want to go on a flight. Well, in order to put in an element of fairness, what we try to do is we have those people log their hours of volunteer time because you can't just pull that money from nowhere. And other events where we're just out in the public and things like that. And those people log their hours, and then if they're interested in traveling, because some people just want to do it just to do it and they don't want to really go on the flight, or they're not physically capable. What we try to do is look at that list and give those people, first opportunity.
Sure.
So if someone wants to go as a volunteer on the honor flight,
better start volunteering early.
Yeah, go see our Western North Dakota or WesternNDHF.org webpage or our Facebook page, Western North Dakota Honor Flight.
Sure.
And you'll see opportunities there. You can get with us. My phone number's on there if you want to call me and discuss it. We also have an email where you can just send an email to make contact, and we're looking to have feelers out all over. We've had some good luck out in Dickinson. They did a Dickinson Big Sticks game, and few people from here traveled, but some of our volunteers helped out there too. It went great, and they raised, I think they were saying $1,500, which is enough to take a veteran all in out there and a little more. So
that's good, and every little bit counts. Yeah. So if somebody would be interested in helping out and donating, what's some of the best ways of going about that?
Well, they could buy some of these raffle tickets.
Well, yeah, they can start with these nice green raffle tickets right here.
Yeah, because those proceeds will go to the honor flight. We do have on our webpage a link that's for donations. We also have, let me look here. Yeah, that, like I said, it was the WesternNDHF.org. You also have the opportunity to, you could contact one of us and we can, have you attend our next fundraiser, whatever that may be. Right now, we're heavy into the planning mode. So we did a Pizza Ranch fundraiser here probably a month ago.
Up north, I think they did something. I heard, yep.
And so those are the types of things we're doing as we're heading into a trip. As we're coming out of the trip, we're looking to maybe do another Dueling Pianos event. I know there's been people in Williston that are excited about doing something like that. We definitely want to do something here, maybe partner with Gateway to Science. My daughter works there, so.
Oh, okay.
Seeing about partnering with them and just try to utilize the space and get people excited. And it works great to have locals do it, but it's also great to have the feelers out in all the communities and just Kenmare. I think it's the Kenmare Veterans Club. They've been a great supporter year over year. MDU Resources Foundation. I actually work for MDU, full disclosure there, but they've helped us out every year. The Leach Foundation has been a major benefactor. The Freedom Riders.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know I don't want to mention everybody, but I don't want to miss anyone. It's just that we have a lot of great people. And,
sure.
And then there's the people who we just had one. I'll mention his name. His name was Leo Volk. He was a Minot veteran who flew on our last flight, and he passed away in June. And the family's recommendation was to make donations to the honor flight, and a few checks have flown in come in from that. So, yeah, it's there's a number of ways. And if you have an idea and you think we can do something, or if you want to help organize something, just call me or send us a info at, I have to look at it because it's a new email address, info@westernndhf.org. And that sends an email directly to me on my phone.
Sure. Well, I know with even with us at Dakota Customs, I know we have a lot of future plans that I'd like to. I can't quite disclose or say anything about, but I do have a lot of plans on future upcoming events and stuff. So we will do what we can also to help with you guys and do some stuff.
It'd be awesome to try to just make it a goal for Dakota Customs to help some way, shape, or form with each flight. Just because this you never know how we may help a veteran get on this flight who may never be able to do it again.
Right.
So,
just a short story there. As you said, COVID was tough on us because we had our group that initially signed up, and we were going through our list of apps, and then we got permission to fly, and we started trying to contact people. And I believe there were 16 people that passed away between the time when they signed up and when we were actually allowed to fly. So, and that happens every flight. We try to recognize them. We do a bio book, we call it, a short story about where they came from, what they did in the military, and what they did after their service. And we do one of those for everyone on the plane, and a few extra just so people can, if they want to purchase one. But it's kind of neat because then they get to read. If they're sitting next to a guy, they'll look them up, and yeah, it's kind of cool. And then so a lot of them will build relationships,
Sure.
kind of after the fact. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't have coffee groups or something set up where people who went together.
So do you have somewhere where you have a list of the people that have gone on this so that these upcoming veterans that are going on, they can see, like, if they know somebody that went on like the first flight or second flight, that they can look at like their little wall of attendance?
Yeah, we haven't published one, but there's been discussion about that because people have asked that exact question. One of our big things is some people just are private, and so we give them the opportunity to opt out. But we also create a sheet of all the veterans who have opted in to with their contact info and stuff. Mm-hmm. So if they meet somebody on the flight and they remember his name was Virgil, whatever, they can look up Virgil and then maybe contact him that way. So.
Yeah.
But if they want their privacy, that privacy is respected.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it.
Are you guys looking into the future? I don't know what's going on with this, but a little staticky. Looking into the future towards like eventually offering flights for veterans who served in the Middle East, Afghan? Actually,
yes. It's a natural progression.
Right, yep.
As our numbers dwindle for future flights, we would probably go. What would be the next conflict? There was Grenada, because there was a nice lull. And then there was Grenada, then there was Desert Storm, then Desert Shield all those years. And we would work through that global war on terror. Eventually, that's probably, it's going to be a while because if we're only taking 2 flights a year, we would get to them, and I would hope that legacy of the honor flight will continue. So,
it'd be pretty big by then. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. That would be the next big thing to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
Or you can start adding an additional flight for, like to Afghanistan and stuff like that to set something up. That would be a big thing too to look at.
Yeah, I agree.
I do want to say that with this, I know Pulky Steel, they're one of the businesses that stepped up to help sell tickets. Mike over at Advanced Fleet, Northwest, all the Northwest Tire shops, Harley on the Strip, Lonesome Dove, and I want to actually give a shout out to Marty, the president of the Freedom Riders. He caught wind that we were doing this and helping raise money, and they held a meeting, and they were all 100% on board to step up and help us sell the tickets and do whatever they could as a volunteer to help out with all this too, to help raise money. So I want to do a huge shout out to the Freedom Riders. That was cool that they stepped up and got involved on this deal also. So again, thanks to those guys. If you are at a bar and you do want to get a ticket, just ask your local bartender there. They should have them behind the desk or their counter if you would like to purchase a ticket. Also, I think KIST is probably going to have some tickets there that if you're in that area, you can stop in at KIST. We will be at the races Friday night selling tickets, and we will be at the Carson Car Show this weekend.
It's kind of like
be selling tickets there too.
The Grant County Fair Rodeo Car Show, kind of their county fair weekend.
Yeah,
this weekend. So
there's a lot going on. Also, I want to talk about, so with this raffle, what's nice about it is, so our goal is to raffle off 100 guns. They're just randomly picked. There's nothing. No, we didn't sit down and put a list what we'd like to see. We left it in Scheels' hands. They randomly pick a variety of guns to raffle off. The good thing about it is, it's what I try to explain to people. It's, you're not just buying a $20 ticket to win a gun if you're not into the guns. The money goes towards a really good cause for this Western North Dakota Honor Flight. But what's nice about it is, if you do get drawn and your name does get picked, you don't have to accept the gun. You will get whatever that gun retails for with tax. You will get that equal dollar amount of a gift card to use at Scheels for anything else. So you can look at it that you could possibly win a free money at Scheels for $20. So you can look at it however you want, and there's a lot to offer at Scheels. If you're into sporting goods, grilling, I think we talked about, they have spices, outdoor entertainment, fishing, shoes, they have clothing, so sunglasses, there you go. So again, it's not just about the guns, but it's what we use to get you to buy the ticket. But you can also use, like I said, the gift card towards anything inside of Scheels. So it's actually a pretty good deal.
So yeah, that should be good, because it'll help people who aren't necessarily hunters and they wouldn't know what they would do with a gun.
Right.
Yeah, it gives them an opportunity to pick something that they can use or want, or give the gift card as a gift.
Yeah, if you can't spend money at Scheels, man, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know where you can spend money at.
Yeah. And luckily for you, they actually have snowmobiling stuff. I think they sell climb, stuff there. Or they did at one time. So
golf stuff too.
Golf. So again, it's unlimited amount of stuff. Oakley is whatever. So again, that's something to think about. Is it's not just about the guns, but you could, like, if you win, you could get whatever that gun valued at with tax. You get that as a gift card to use at any thing that you want throughout the whole store. So just something to keep in mind, because everybody's like, I'm not buying a ticket, I'm not in the guns. Well, you can use it for Scheels itself.
You can get, like, I know they got their little bakery, coffee shop, deli, and it's good. Like, they got a walleye sandwich there that's tough to beat.
Really?
So you can get a month's worth of free meals if you wanted. So,
and the best part is your $20.
Yeah, exactly.
As I said, we are a nonprofit. Plus, we're also. Not that I'm inferring that there's a tax advantage here. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that $20 will go directly to a veteran's cause.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. So it's if it's not even about what the gun, you got to think, like, to give $20 to make something very special and unique for a veteran. To me, it's worth way more than $20. So do what you can.
This is really cool.
Yeah, do what you can, help out. Again, we're going to do our part, see what we can do to help out, and we will continue to help out. Like, we're not just going to stop here. Like I said,
it's just the beginning.
Yeah, Dakota Customs, me personally, I have a lot of future plans. I'm like, my mind is out there. I have a lot of things that is going to be happening here in the future with Dakota Customs. So as we grow and proceed, and moving forward, I'll always keep this in my back pocket to always help what we can for the Western North Dakota Honor Flight. So again, it means a lot to me to help out, and we will do what we can as a business to also give in return for this good cause. I do want to say thanks, Dennis, for short notice that you were able to come in and chat with us. I appreciate it. It means a lot. So again, don't forget, you can research this if you want to help donate on the internet. I'm sure it's out there. If you just even want to find out how and where, if you just research the Western North Dakota Honor Flight, you will find all the information that you need to help donate, or whatever that you need. If it's funding or even help volunteer to help out, like, I'm sure everybody's looking for a volunteer on this thing. So again, every little bit counts, and I'm sure they will be greatly appreciated for everything that you've done. Also, I want to say thanks to all the veterans out there. Thanks for your service. Honestly, it means a lot. So can't forget about thinking just even up front, the veterans out there. Thank you.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to live the lives we live today each and every day without them. So
Yeah,
it's can't tip our hats enough.
correct. I agree 100%. Don't forget, podcast airs 1270 a.m. on the Super Talk radio station. You can check us out on our website, on our Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're out there. Don't forget to comment. If there's anything you guys want to discuss or talk about, leave comments. We will answer. We will talk about it on our upcoming podcast if there's anything that you guys want to know. Other than that, Dennis, again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
This has been great.
Yeah, it's glad to have you on here. So we'll have to do is we might have to do a follow-up one after this upcoming flight.
Flight went.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'd be curious because I think a lot of our listeners that are into this and actually there's a lot out there that know what the Western North Dakota flight would be nice to hear the feedback and how when your flights actually went.
I want to know more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can get one of our local veterans to come in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be cool.
We can get somebody that's local and we can have them talk about it too. So I think that'd be something cool that we could definitely work out.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so don't forget, get your raffle ticket. You can contact us. You can message us if you need some tickets, cash and check only. So it's $20 to help donate. So again, thanks listeners. I appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See you guys.
Thank you.